Have you ever wondered why you were given the name you have? Not just the sound of it, or the way it looks when it's written down, but what it truly means. What it says about who you are, why you're here, and what kind of life you're destined to live? Most of us grow up thinking of our name as something static, a label given by our parents, perhaps chosen for tradition or because it sounded nice. But what if your full name is actually a coded message, a spiritual blueprint, pointing directly to your soul's deeper purpose? It's not something you'll hear in school. You won't find it in textbooks or in most self-help books either. But throughout history, mystics, sages, and spiritual teachers have believed that names carry frequencies, vibrational patterns that are far from random. These patterns, they say, resonate with specific qualities of personality, fate, and karma. Names are not just arbitrary labels, they are living energies. In ancient cultures, names were often given through ceremony, divination, or astrological insight. People understood that a name could call forth power, or suppress it, that it could set someone on a path toward greatness, or hold them back in unseen ways. So what about your name? What hidden truths lie inside the letters you use every day, often without thinking twice? Is your name gently guiding you toward certain kinds of people, opportunities, and challenges? Has it been whispering your soul's message this whole time? In this video, we're going to explore something powerful and rarely discussed: what your full name says about your destiny, not from a numerology chart or a pop quiz, but from a deeper, more intuitive, spiritually aligned perspective. We'll unpack how each part of your name, your first, middle, and last, carries symbolic weight. We'll explore how names can shape your identity, your relationships, even your emotional patterns. And by the end, you'll not only see your name differently, you might just see yourself differently. So stay with me. You're about to discover that your name isn't just who you are. It's why you are. Think about how your name feels when someone says it, that subtle sensation in your body when you hear it out loud, whether it's a comforting tone from a loved one or a sharp command from a stranger. There's something visceral about it, isn't there? That's because your name isn't just a sound, it's a frequency. In spiritual traditions, especially in Eastern philosophies and indigenous cultures, sound is considered one of the purest forms of energy. It's the vehicle through which the universe expresses itself. And your name? It's your personal sound signature, a repeated affirmation that shapes how you see yourself and how others relate to you. If you've ever heard the saying, "Words cast spells," it's not just metaphor. Every time your name is spoken, it reinforces a certain identity, a set of energies, a memory of who you think you are. The repetition of it through life acts almost like a mantra, carving grooves into your consciousness. Have you noticed how different names carry different emotional textures? A name like Grace often evokes softness, elegance. A name like Victor might bring a sense of strength or triumph. These associations go beyond cultural stereotypes. They sink into the subconscious. They influence the way people respond to you, and the way you respond to yourself. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Your name was chosen, yes, by your parents, but also, according to many spiritual teachings, by your soul before you arrived. Some believe that souls impress ideas or intuitions onto the minds of their parents, subtly guiding them toward the right name. Not necessarily the most glamorous or trendy name, but the one that matches the vibrational needs of your soul's journey in this lifetime. In other words, your name may not always feel perfect to your ego, but it's perfect for your path. And if you've ever felt like your name didn't quite fit, that feeling itself may be pointing to something deeper, a part of you yearning to evolve, to grow into what your name is calling you to become. This isn't just spiritual poetry, it's backed by subtle psychology. Studies have shown that our names can unconsciously shape our behavior, even influence what careers we pursue or how successful we become. This is called the name letter effect. And while science often focuses on the surface, spiritual wisdom invites us to go deeper. So, the next time you hear your name, pause for a second. Feel it. Not just with your ears, but with your intuition. Ask yourself, what is this name activating in me? Because the truth is, your name is a frequency, and frequencies don't lie. Your first name is more than just how people call you. It's your soul's current expression. The face your spirit chooses to wear in this lifetime. It speaks to the lessons you're here to learn, the gifts you're meant to share, and the emotional tone that colors your experience. First names often carry the emotional blueprint of your path. Think of it as the spiritual fingerprint of your incarnation. Let's break this down. Have you noticed that certain names come with certain expectations? A Michael might be seen as dependable. A Sophia might feel wise. These patterns don't emerge from nowhere. Over time, language, sound, and human experience create energetic archetypes. And when you're given a name, you step into that archetype, whether you realize it or not. Your first name becomes a lens through which others perceive you, but more importantly, through which you perceive yourself. Now, here's something rarely discussed. Your first name is often tied to the emotional terrain you're meant to explore. If your name has soft, flowing sounds, you may be walking a path of gentleness, sensitivity, or intuition. If it has sharp, commanding consonants, your soul may be calling you into leadership, truth-telling, or strength. Either way, there's no accident here. Many spiritual teachers suggest that the resonance of your first name echoes the inner child's journey. It's where your early identity forms. It's how you first learn to belong or struggle to. And that's why some people feel tension with their name early in life. They sense a mismatch between the name and their unformed sense of self. But over time, life will test you, grow you, and mold you into alignment with that original vibration. Or you might outgrow it entirely. And that's not failure, that's evolution. Some people change their names as they awaken, not out of rebellion, but as a rite of passage, a signal that the old identity no longer fits. This is often seen in spiritual lineages, monks, mystics, and yogis receiving a new name that matches their higher path. If your name has always felt like a strange fit, don't dismiss that feeling. Sit with it. What part of you resists it? What part of you feels seen by it? And if your name feels like home, that's a powerful sign too. It means your soul's personality and your earthly identity are dancing in harmony. Either way, your first name is not just a label, it's a mirror, a message, a vibration chosen by you for you to carry you through this beautiful, unpredictable journey of becoming. If this idea speaks to your journey, give this video a like so it reaches others who need it. Middle names are often overlooked, the quiet part of our identity, tucked between the more visible first and last. But spiritually, the middle name carries profound weight. It acts as a bridge between who we appear to be and who we are becoming. Think of it like a spiritual hinge. The first name holds your personal essence. The last name anchors you in ancestry. But the middle name, it connects the two, linking your inner calling with the legacy you're meant to reshape or expand. This is why middle names often carry ancestral, cultural, or even spiritual significance. Many people are given a middle name in honor of a grandparent, a religious figure, or a meaningful word. These names act as threads, connecting you to something older, deeper, more mysterious than yourself. Sometimes you don't even know the story behind your middle name, and that's where the treasure often lies. Middle names tend to hold dormant energy. You may not feel their influence in childhood, but as you mature, something shifts. You begin to sense this hidden aspect of yourself calling to be integrated. Especially during moments of spiritual transition or identity crisis, people often become curious about their full name, and the middle name suddenly becomes a key. Let me ask you this. Have you ever seen your full name written out and felt something stir? Not just pride or awkwardness, but a flicker of recognition, like looking at a soul contract hidden in plain sight. That's the power of the middle name. It's often where your life starts to pivot. It can carry the karma you're here to heal, or the destiny you're here to reclaim. Some spiritual lineages even say the middle name reveals the part of your soul that's in training, the qualities you're still refining before they become fully embodied. And if you don't have a middle name, that itself is a message. It may point to a lifetime where you are meant to forge your own bridge, to be the one who redefines legacy rather than continuing it. Your life becomes the bridge, the connection, the healing cord between past and future. So take a moment and look at your middle name, or the absence of one. What feelings does it evoke? Whose energy does it carry? What qualities does it suggest that you've perhaps downplayed or delayed embracing? Your middle name is not just filler, it's the hidden river running through your life, and if you're brave enough to explore it, it may just lead you back to your soul's deeper map. Your last name is your spiritual surname, the echo of your bloodline, your ancestry, and the generational stories that shape who you are before you even take your first breath. It's the part of your name that connects you to the past, but also challenges you to rise beyond it. We often take our last names for granted. Passed down from parents, it seems like a bureaucratic formality, useful for identification, family trees, or legal documents. But spiritually, it's much more than that. It's a torch passed from one generation to the next, often with the hidden flames of both blessing and burden. Your last name carries energetic patterns. Whether you're aware of it or not, those patterns are alive within you. They show up as unconscious habits, emotional reflexes, family expectations, or even chronic challenges that repeat themselves across generations. Have you ever noticed recurring themes in your family? Patterns around love, money, health, or conflict? Those are not random. They are spiritual scripts embedded in the lineage, and your last name is the title of that script. When you carry it, you're participating in a story much larger than your individual life. But here's the deeper truth. You're not just here to repeat the story. You're here to evolve it. Every soul is born into a family for a reason. Your last name represents the karmic soil in which your spiritual roots were planted. And sometimes those roots are tangled. They might include pain, silence, oppression, or shame, energy that has been passed down through silence, secrecy, or survival. Your task isn't to carry the pain. Your task is to transform it, and that's where spiritual awareness becomes powerful. When you awaken to the energetic signature of your last name, you gain the ability to choose what you continue and what you transmute. Some people change their last names to break from painful pasts. Others embrace it fully, seeking to restore dignity to a lineage that may have been wounded. Either way, the point is not to run from your name, but to become conscious of what it carries. Because when you know the weight, you gain the strength to lift it, and in lifting it, you not only rewrite your personal story, you shift the entire lineage forward. This is what some traditions call ancestral healing, and it often begins with something as simple, yet profound, as honoring the name you've been given. Ask yourself, what story lives in my last name? What wounds does it carry? And what wisdom? Because buried within it is not just the pain of the past, but the potential for profound transformation. And you are the one your ancestors dreamed would do it. If this resonates with you, let me know in the comments below. Now let's put the pieces together. Your first name, middle name, and last name are not separate parts. They are components of a living equation, a kind of energetic geometry, forming a complete signature of who you are in this lifetime and what you're here to master. It's like a spiritual formula. First name, Nascu's personal essence. Middle name, Mascu's the bridge and the soul's apprenticeship. Last name, Mascun ancestral inheritance. When combined, they generate a vibrational frequency unique to you. It's not just a name, it's a map, a mirror, and a message. In some spiritual traditions, this complete vibrational pattern is known as a soul imprint. It's how the universe recognizes you. Just as no two snowflakes are identical, no two names vibrate in the exact same way, especially when paired with the soul energy behind them. This is why your full name, especially when spoken aloud or written in full, can activate deep emotional or energetic responses. Have you ever heard someone say your full name and felt suddenly alert, vulnerable, or even strangely powerful? It's not just a psychological reaction. On a soul level, your full name carries the totality of your current human incarnation. It's as if your spirit stands to attention when it's called. That's why many spiritual teachers encourage people to speak or write their full names during rituals, affirmations, or healing work, because it calls forward your entire self, not just a part of you. But here's the mystical twist. Your name doesn't define you. It reveals you. It doesn't limit your path. It illuminates it. Like a constellation in the night sky, your name points to certain patterns, but how you walk beneath those stars is entirely up to you. That's why two people with the same name can live vastly different lives. It's not the name alone that determines your destiny. It's how you respond to the energies your name contains. Will you resist its lessons or rise into its invitation? And if your name changes over time, through marriage, choice, or rebirth, that too has meaning. It often marks a soul shift, a chapter closing, a new alignment taking shape. Every version of your name carries a slightly different frequency, just as every version of you carries different layers of growth, healing, and transformation. So consider this. If you were to look at your full name, today, not as a formality but as a sacred mantra, what would it be saying? What power does it hold? And what path is it trying to guide you toward? Because once you understand that your name is more than identity, its intention, you begin to live with far more clarity and courage. Most of us hear our name dozens of times a day, but how often do we listen to it? There's a quiet spiritual power in hearing your name spoken with intention, not shouted in frustration or tossed out casually, but spoken with presence, with reverence, with awareness of its deeper meaning. The ancient mystics knew this. In many traditions, names were whispered in sacred ceremonies or meditations. Priests, shamans, and spiritual elders would speak someone's name slowly and deliberately, as a way of invoking their soul. In those moments, your name isn't just a label. It becomes a key to your higher self, a call to awaken, a reminder of why you came here. Have you ever had someone say your name in a way that made you feel seen? It's rare, but unforgettable. There's a reason for that. When someone speaks your name with love, clarity, or deep presence, it activates a recognition inside of you. A sense that you are not just a role or a function, you are a soul. Alive, named, known, and equally powerful. Saying your own name aloud, try it. Not in a hurried introduction or a formal announcement, but softly, gently, alone, in stillness. Say your full name and pause, feel what rises. Sometimes it brings tears, other times clarity. Often both, because in that moment, you are uniting the outer identity with the inner witness. You are honoring yourself as both human and divine. There is spiritual medicine in that. Of course, there's also discomfort. Many people feel awkward saying their full name. Why? Because it confronts the parts of us that still feel hidden or not fully claimed. Your name carries the truth of your journey, and truth by nature stirs the soul. But that's the gift. The more consciously you say your name, the more love, power, and peace you invite into your life. So here's a quiet practice. Once a day, say your name aloud. Not for the world to hear, but for you. Let it be a daily blessing, a personal mantra, a reminder that your name is not just who you are, it's who you're becoming, because in the silence that follows, your soul will answer. What happens when your name just doesn't feel right? When every time you hear it, there's a small internal flinch, a subtle resistance or sadness, like wearing clothes that don't quite fit. For some, this feeling grows stronger over time. And eventually, the question arises, do I need to change my name? This is more common and more spiritually significant than most people realize. Names carry energy, and sometimes the energy of a name doesn't match who you've become or who you're becoming. Perhaps the name was given in a moment of stress, or by someone who didn't fully see your light. Or perhaps it was inherited without care, passed down more for tradition than for truth. When that mismatch exists, your soul may begin to resist it. You may feel disconnected, unseen, or even anxious when your name is called. And while society often treats this lightly, spiritually, it's a powerful message. Your inner identity is ready to evolve. Your soul is calling you to rename yourself, not to run from your past, but to step more fully into your future. This is not just a psychological shift. In many cultures, receiving a new name is a sacred rite. In spiritual traditions from Africa to Asia, when someone reaches a certain level of awakening or undergoes a profound transformation, they're often given, or choose, a new name. It marks the death of the old self and the birth of the true one, But here's the most important part. Changing your name isn't about ego. It's not about sounding more spiritual or exotic. It's about alignment. If your current name no longer reflects your inner reality, you have every right, and perhaps even a responsibility, to explore a name that does. This might mean adjusting your name slightly, adopting a spiritual name, or choosing something entirely new. It may be private, used only in sacred spaces, or public, shared boldly with the world. There's no right or wrong, only what resonates with your soul's truth. And even if you never change your name legally, the simple act of choosing a new energetic identity can be healing. It's a declaration that you are no longer bound by who others said you were. You are now walking in the power of who you know yourself to be. So if your current name feels like a cage rather than a compass, listen, that feeling is not weakness. It's a soul signal, inviting you to reclaim your narrative, speak your truth, and write your own name into the sacred story of your life. Isn't it interesting how most people go through life barely thinking about their name until one day something changes? Maybe you hear it differently, or see it on a form and suddenly pause, or someone calls your full name and it sends a strange ripple through your chest. These aren't coincidences. They're spiritual nudges, because timing matters. The deeper meanings of your name often don't reveal themselves all at once. They unfold slowly, like petals opening at the right moment, when you're finally ready to receive them. It's not just about learning, it's about remembering. You might go decades before realizing why your name carries a certain energy. Maybe it echoes a karmic lesson you've faced again and again. Maybe it mirrors your biggest wound, or your highest gift, or perhaps it contains a quality you've denied but are now being asked to embody. This is why you might feel fine with your name for years, and then suddenly feel discomfort. That discomfort doesn't mean something is wrong. It means something is awakening. Spiritually speaking, we often discover the true meaning of our name during transitions, after heartbreak, awakening, illness, spiritual rebirth, or profound loss. It's in those raw, honest moments that we begin to question, who am I really? And when that question arises, your name becomes a portal, a tool for reflection, a mirror showing you the gap between who you've been and who you're becoming. The beautiful thing is this: your name is patient. It waits for you. Whether you explore it at 17 or 70, the message it holds is still alive, and often, the longer it takes to arrive, the deeper the insight it offers. So, if you're only now starting to feel curious about your name, trust that timing. You weren't ready before, but you are now. And that readiness means your soul is entering a new season, a season of greater alignment, deeper purpose, and more conscious living. Because in spiritual life, nothing is random, especially not your name. If names are spiritual, maps then giving a name to someone, especially a child, is an act of profound responsibility. Too often names are chosen based on trends, aesthetics, or family pressures. But naming, at its core, is a sacred act. It is the first blessing, a burden, that a soul receives upon entering this world. When you name someone, you're not just picking a label. You're giving them a vibrational starting point, a spiritual echo that will ripple through their relationships, decisions, and self-concept. That's why so many indigenous and spiritual traditions treated naming as a ceremony. In some cultures, a child's name wasn't given at birth. It was discovered over time. Elders would watch the child's energy, dreams, and natural gifts before choosing a name that truly fit. In others, names were whispered in vision quests or prayer rituals, asking the ancestors or divine to speak the soul's name into being. This wisdom still applies today. If you're a parent, guardian, or soon-to-be, take this to heart. The name you give a child will shape more than how others perceive them. It will shape how they perceive themselves, especially in moments of self-doubt, growth, or transformation. And if you've already named your child, it's never too late to reflect. Why did I choose that name? What qualities does it carry? What kind of spiritual invitation does it offer? Sometimes parents are intuitively guided to give the perfect name, even without fully understanding why. That's the soul whispering through them. Other times, children will eventually feel the need to adjust their name. This is not an insult. It's a deep expression of their path unfolding. In fact, the ultimate act of love might be allowing someone to rename themselves, to choose the vibration that matches their truth. This is true for friends, partners, and especially children, because naming isn't about control. It's about alignment. So whether you're naming a child, a business, a pet, or even a new version of yourself, pause, ask what energy wants to come through, because names carry power. And when given with care, that power becomes a blessing that lasts a lifetime, and perhaps many lifetimes beyond. If this reflection touched something in you, share it in the comments. You never know who's carrying the same question in silence. Let's bring all this soul-deep reflection into something you can actually use, starting today. These practices are simple but powerful. Think of them as tools to help you reconnect with your name's deeper energy and awaken the wisdom it's been holding for you all along. Say your full name in stillness. Find a quiet space. Take a breath. Then, softly say your full name aloud. Don't rush it. Let the sound roll over, your tongue into your ears and through your chest. Pause after you say it, and simply feel. Is there pride, discomfort, curiosity? This practice reveals how aligned or misaligned you feel with your identity. Do it daily for a week. Journal what comes up. Patterns will emerge. Research the origins and meanings. Look up the etymology of your first, middle, and last names. Not just the dictionary definitions, go deeper. Find the cultural roots, historical figures, symbolic associations. You might discover that your name means light bringer, warrior, or peaceful one. These meanings often resonate with your life challenges and gifts. What you find might surprise you or feel like long-lost truth. Reflect on who named you and why. Ask yourself, or your family if possible, why was I given this name? Was it chosen for someone else, inspired by a dream, a feeling? Even if it was random, explore what your soul might have seen in that choice. Often, what seems random on the surface is sacred underneath. Explore the energy of nicknames and alterations. You go by a nickname. Did you used to? Notice how each version of your name carries a slightly different frequency. Some names feel more casual, playful, or protective. Others feel formal, empowered, or heavy. Reflect on which version feels most like you now, and why. This can help you sense the identity you're growing into. Write your full name as an affirmation. Try this sentence. I am your full name, and I am here to... Let the sentence complete itself each time you write it. For example, I'm Sarah Marie Thompson, and I am here to awaken compassion. I am David Alexander Cruz, and I am here to break cycles. Write it 10 times with presence, then read it aloud. You may be stunned at what comes through. Consider a soul name if you feel called. If your current name doesn't resonate, or you're undergoing a transformation, try this. In meditation, ask your higher self, what name aligns with who I am becoming? Listen, trust. It may come as a sound, a symbol, or a whisper. You don't have to legally change your name, just using it privately, in journaling, meditation, or sacred space, can be a powerful way to claim your next chapter. Bless the names of others. Start consciously saying people's names with presence, especially loved ones. Speak their names slowly, lovingly, as if naming their soul. Watch how they soften. Names are energy. When spoken with care, they heal. These aren't just exercises, they're doorways. The more you engage with your name, not as a label but as a living message, the more clarity, confidence, and peace you'll begin to feel, because your name isn't just who you are. It's who you're here to become. Take a moment. Think about the name you've carried your whole life. It's been said by thousands of voices, written on countless documents, whispered in love, maybe even shouted in pain. And yet, through it's been quietly pointing you home. Your name isn't just a sound, it's a story, a soul map, a vibration carrying the memory of who you've been, and the promise of who you're becoming. Throughout this video, we've explored how your name holds spiritual clues, not random, but intentional, chosen by your soul, guided by unseen hands, and echoing with ancestral wisdom. From the personality of your first name to the hidden bridge of your middle to the generational weight of your last, it all adds up to something sacred. But here's the most important truth of all. You are not bound by your name. You are revealed by it. You are the living answer to its question, the soul responding to its sound, and whether you continue with it or choose to evolve it, the power lies in your awareness. Your consciousness is what makes a name sacred. So I leave you with this question, one I hope you'll reflect on deeply. What is your name really saying, Meshkos? And are you ready to listen? If this journey opened something in you, if you felt seen or stirred in any way, I invite you to honor that feeling. Like this video, share it with someone who might need it. And most of always, leave a comment below. Tell me your full name and what you think it might mean now. And if this kind of soul wisdom speaks to you, subscribe for more reflections like this. You might also enjoy our next video, because your life isn't random. It's written, not in ink, but in energy. And your name is just the beginning.